Welcome to Art by the Sea Gallery. I'm Shantan Pesta. I'm one of 20 members here in the gallery, and we're currently having our annual photography show, The Eye and the Lens. We've had a big turnout, over 60 photographs, and we're very fortunate to get a wonderful judge, Jan Ayers. Jan is a well-known photographer and writer, poet. She's worked in the film and the television industry, and she has traveled extensively in the world, honing her photography skills. She just finished judging the show, and she's going to speak to you about her insights regarding the photographs. So here's Jan.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sean. I need to say right off the bat, this was a very tough job, because there were 64 entries, and they're all amazing. So I said, okay, my first job was to look at everything, really sit and contemplate, and I said, okay, I'm going to just make a list of what is really ribbon worthy. I'm not going to think about first, second, third. I'm just going to do ribbon worthy, and I ended up with exactly half, 32. So you can see what a tough job I had with all these amazing entries. I don't know where we get all this talent here in this town. It's amazing. So we can start with first place, right? And this is something that's a very quiet piece. I kept coming back to it. There were about 6 pieces in the show that vied for first place, but this one won finally. And it is by Sue Brownfield, and it's called Radish. And I think I just want to talk about what really attracted me to this, is that I felt completely drawn into it. It's a very quiet piece, it's very subtle. It reminds me of, it's very painterly, very much like an oil painting. And it felt like it was a part of a larger piece. It looked like it was one of those little key details from a still life, from a Dutch painting from the Middle Ages or from the 18th century or the 19th century. It just felt like this was something that a writer was saying, look at this little detail in this still life. It is, you see the butt end of the radish towards the front, but it is asymmetrically placed, so it's not centered. This is the major portion, and then there's just a little trail off of the root. That in itself, I mean, my mind is working. It's the Dutch love Japanese, and this is a very Japanese composition where it's something small in an immense field, which means it's kind of a symbol of that we are small in this immense universe. Then the asymmetry is just for visual interest, and then I thought, well, if I were to take the radish, what does it mean? Usually those still lifes, every little element was a symbol. So I thought, look up radish. And sure enough, in the Middle Ages, in painting, in Holland, the radish was a symbol of domestic strife or a quarrel. And I thought, wow, that says it all right there. So, first place. My second place is such a beautiful composition and so surprising, so massively powerful. I love this. We have the delicacy of the birds. There are 5 birds. It's always beautiful to have an odd number of objects. 3 or 5 is always beautiful. And it is against what would ordinarily you would see birds in the sky, and they would be against clouds. But this instead, these are waves. This is this huge wave, and I love the fact that the photographer, which is Sandy Vallahu, which I didn't know. Of course, I judged all this blindly, so I had no idea who these people were. But I love the fact that she left a little bit of the edge of the surf here, where the surf meets the waves here. Which then, I looked at it and I thought, wow, okay, we've got a little bit of dark in here, and then we also have some brown. We see a little bit more of the edging of the ocean. Then we see a little ocean behind, and the sky up here. She's done it on aluminum, so it's this incredible metallic quality to it. Very much like the radish still life, that because you do something on an angle, it gives it more volume. So there's much more volume in this. We feel that it's three-dimensional. We feel that the radish is three-dimensional as well. So really beautiful work. Okay. Now we come to third place. This is a very quiet piece, gorgeous, very sensual. My eye was drawn to the fact that it's also, like the other two, it's framed really beautifully. But there's a form right in the center. Again, the use of asymmetry, which is beautiful. It becomes this abstract. I didn't know what this form was. It looked like, almost like wood, like it was a smooth tongue underneath another body. So it looks like this is a body, this is a body, then this is a little visual interest here, and above are tree branches that give it texture. So we have smooth, we have the stones that are rough, but yet it's a mound. We have this indescribable object that looks like we can enter it. There's like a mouth that goes in. And then the branches above that also, oddly, have this aspect of looking like letters. It looks like L-I-A-A, whatever, I don't know. And this is done by our mayor, Mary Shamhorn. I had no idea. But it's really a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And I love, there's a little reflection down here that curves off the frame. Really beautiful. Then we go to the honorable mentions. And I had a tough time with the honorable mentions. There's so many that I could have picked. I just had to almost get a dartboard out. That's how tough this was. Our iconic beach, a nice black and white. It's called Abandoned Cloudscape by Roxalana Elliott. I hope I pronounced that properly. And I loved the cloud heads. They feel like they're moving. There's volume to it. There's a quiet above, and then real shimmery ocean with the wave coming in, and the landmass with our little iconic sea stacks there. Something that we see often, but this is a nice take on it, and beautifully done. And I love the fact that she left it in black and white so that we can just see those clouds. Then we have, let's see, Young Bull by Brandon Cholera. And what struck me about this, first of all, there's beautiful catchlight in the bull's eyes, but the light is extraordinary. The light is coming from behind. It's wrapping around the stag's shoulders. So there's that real red ruff there that comes right up to the eye, and then those beautiful horns and ears going out to the side. But that red, that light there just grabbed me. Because otherwise, I appreciate nature photography, I appreciate animal photography, but this use of light is just extraordinary. And then there's all that diffuse up to the side. And I like the branches over on the right side. I like the twig that comes in perpendicular, and then another twig that goes up to the side, and the scar. I love imperfection. Next up, I could have done more on this wall for sure. I love the dahlia, the pink dahlia up there is just extraordinary. I love this infrared. The praying mantis is so sculptural. But I had to pick something. I picked this, and also that the sky up there is just extraordinary. But I went with Tendrils by Ginny Prickett. I love abstracts. I love natural forms that become abstracts. The use of color is extraordinary. I love the motion of it all. I love this fat vine that goes straight across this way. And the purple highlight, the bokeh is really wonderful. And then below is Seagrass by Terry Stroh. And I looked at that a long time, and I thought, well, okay, those stones are really beautiful. But then, what catches me about this is the fact that the light source is here, and it's coming down, and it catches right at that top stone. All of them, really. There's a lovely little path of light here. But this blue just got to me, and then I love the blue edging. So that grabbed me. But boy, some of these other ones. Next up, Fog Light by Dick Brownfield. And this is, apparently I found out afterwards, is done at Yellowstone. I was thinking that perhaps that was fog, but it's actually sulfur gas that's clouded here. These are, of course, the leading lines that come up through the boardwalk. I love the visual interest of the wood itself, that one red board there, which is kind of like a pointer into the figure that's already into the mist, as if it's on this, it's very metaphoric, it's as if he's on this journey, he's going off into the unknown. And then of course, so it's all very, the colors are very muted except for that little red board. But there's some blue and blue sky up at the top. So that was very intriguing. This picture is Stairway to Heaven, or Starway to Heaven, I'm sorry. And it's by Sally Weymouth. And I was struck by it because of the fact that, okay, here's another iconic abandoned beach scene. We're so privileged to be in this area and get to see these amazing sunsets. And of course we have Denny, who does Circles in the Sand and gives us these amazing canvases. So we've got the man-made pathway with these beautiful graphic, and then this circle here. So it's like a leading up here, but it leads off. The photographer's chosen to do it rather than straight on, that it's leading off to the side. And again, a little bit of asymmetry is very appealing. We've got clumps of people here, and then we've got the clumps of the cats and kittens, sea stack, and the large center rock, which is, again, I think this is more, she decided, yeah, that she centered the rock, and the path is askew, which is quite beautiful, as if it's pointing towards the sunset. And then the sky comes up over our heads this way. Nice job. I also just want to mention, I went back and forth about Symphony of Color, Sedona. I didn't know where it was. I thought it might be Sedona. And that's by Sandy Vallahu as well, who was our second place winner. But she does such a fine job of light in this one. And it's of course, the sky is gorgeous, striation of color with the striation of the rocks. But the foreground, she really does a beautiful job of bringing that foreground into focus. And this little clump of cactus has the most amazing light. I just was so drawn to that. I thought that was beautiful. It was like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I thought this was a bold piece as well. I love having using kind of like a Joseph Cornell box kind of idea. This is extraordinary composition, and I went back and forth on this one with the butterfly. I mean, look at these wings with the leaves and the antenna with the flower. I forget what flower this is. Just stunning. This is absolutely stunning. The crow with the berry in the mouth, amazing. Here's another honorable mention, very intriguing, by Darla. It's called Quixote's Charge by Darla Parthemore. And it's a composite. She has two other composites in the show that are very intriguing, but this is the one that grabbed me. If you can see there, she starts with an archway that's made from trees. There's a lovely foreground that's very, very textural with twigs on the ground, and then there are vines that come up, trees that come up around an archway. And then the archway leads you up a set of stairs to a building of some sort. So this looks like a keyhole. Then the building looks like a keyhole. And then the windows look like keyholes. And this lit area, we keep getting drawn back. It's almost like an infinity mirror where we just keep going stage back and back and back, as if this is this incredible fantasy that we're entering. So I thought that was lovely and intriguing. I love these little vegetation on either side, but it looks almost like an etching. So fine job. I love this piece. All right, so this is the Corinthian Canal by Olivia Welch. And I was drawn to it because it was up high on the wall, and I kept looking at it, and it kept coming back to it because I thought, well, is that a drone shot, or is it from a helicopter, or is it from a height? Well, I found out afterwards that it's from the photographer, that it's from a bluff looking down, and it's in Greece, because I thought to myself, okay, this looks like an establishing shot from a film, where you show the action from above, and then you come down into it, and then boom, you're in the scene. And I thought, what is that scene? Are they fishermen? Are they making a drug deal? Are they police? I mean, I saw this guy has a blue shirt, this guy has a blue shirt, this guy has a blue shirt. So what it is that this photo brings me down into a narrative, and that is a lovely thing to feel that pull into a story. So that's why I was intrigued by this. And who knows what it is. I had no idea. I knew that, I sort of felt like it was a foreign country, but that's as far as I went. And she didn't know either. So it'll remain a mystery. I have another piece by Dick Brownfield. And let's see, it's called Ship Universe. So what drew me to this was that it looked like planets. It looked like an abstract. I thought to myself, well, what is this? Because again, I'm looking at this blind. I have no idea what it is. But it did look like the side of a boat, and he did confirm when I spoke with him that that's what it is. But to me, it looks like a Paul Klee composition. I love the circles. I love Paul Klee did kind of those lines in caustic. Gorgeous abstract here, these colors, this little bit of popping red here and here, this white, and then the chipped away, the peeled away white here, some white. And I love the way it's framed also in this mauve because of the purple here, and this almost looks like a satellite. So it was a beautiful composition for. So this is also an honorable mention. It's by Annetta Adams, and it's called Universe. What is it again? In reverse.
Reflections of Symmetry.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's completely different. Reflections of Symmetry, not Universe in reverse. So this is. I liked the black and white. I always. I love black and white. It is very traditional to photograph with black and white. It certainly was with working with 35 millimeter film. Now, of course, we shoot mostly digitally, but I loved this composition because I love the wood here and the globe, which reverses everything, and the diffuseness in the blown out background, which is, I would imagine, surf. There's a horizon line here that's very subtle, and sky up here. But I felt that the wood form was very sculptural, and then this was just very surprising, this little circle here. Pleasing, and I liked her having almost half of the background to this circle being diffuse like that. That's.
I just want to remind people to come into the gallery and enjoy the show. And Jan has made all her notes, and instead of pamphlet, you can read all her notes on every single piece in the show. And vote for your favorite photograph. The winner of the People's Choice will receive a space in the gallery for 1 month next year to display and sell their art. So it's real important. If you love something, please come in and cast your vote. And thank you again, Jan.
And I can also add, if you don't mind, that I am available to talk to anyone. If anyone would like to talk to me about the notes that I made or anything more, I just want to make sure that every photographer in the show knows that I probably could have picked any one of these for any ribbon. And I wish that I could have had more ribbons. So thank you.